Yes.
There we go. Great. And there we go. Okay, and I just have a little peppy here. To show everybody.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko rangi tōtō te moanga. Ko nukumia te awa. Ko te hiringa waka o ōrewa te marae. No Tamaki Makoto aho. Ko Everett toku ingoa whānau. Ko Barry toku papa. Ko Francis toku mama. Ko Lisa toku ingoa. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa.
So that's just my little pepe ha, and I thought I would introduce you to my background. So that's just a little bit about me, and I thought we would start the session today with having a look at some of the digital breakouts. First of all, do any of you sort of understand what I mean when I say digital breakouts? Does anyone sort of need a bit of a explanation on that one? Good. Okay, so I thought I would start off by just showing a couple of examples that I have created in the past, and these ones I have made for Maths Week. So we've got a stage 1 to 3 breakout, and obviously with the changing up of the maths curriculum, the names of these may have to change in the future. But this one here is a stage 1 to 3 breakout, and I've also got a stage 7 one that I can show you as well. So basically what's involved with our breakouts is the students will get a website, and then they'll get a little code cracker here, which is done through Google Forms, and they go through, they work out all of the clues, and then when they type it into their breakout, then they can figure out the clues, and it will let them through and submit, and then they have broken out. So this is one of the websites that I made last year, and there's a couple of different activities for the children to do, and this one was designed for a teacher to do with children, and from there is do it with a whole class or whatever, because obviously a lot of our stage 1 to 3 or year 1 to 2 children don't have access to their own devices, so I tried to make it inclusive for everybody. So if you can have a look through, here is the main crux of what a breakout is, and I'll be taking you through and showing you how to create this, how to put a form onto a Google site, and then how to use a little bit of manipulation in Google Sheets to create some different clues. These can get as simple or as complicated as you like, and I've got a few things in there that I've coded. I'm a little bit of a fanatic with coding, so but if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I can't code, then no problem whatsoever. All you need to do is just have a little bit of knowledge with using Google tools, and anyone can create these breakouts. So the other thing that I always do with my breakouts is create an answer sheet for myself. So if I'm going back in 2 or 3 years time, I don't have to remember what the answers to the clues were. So here is the answer sheet for this breakout, and it gives a basic idea of where the clues are found and what they are. So if we look at the cookie fraction quiz on the website, if we click through onto our Cookie Monster, it will open up a little Google form, and this one is like a little quiz. So we go through, and like I said, you do it with a whole class of children. You can get children to stick their hands up and answer. We can even get them working in groups with each question, and go through, answer these different questions, and we can see that's a whole. I won't go through each one, but as you can see, it leads you through, and then the answer to that, it leads you through. Actually, I probably will go through all of these because I'll show you a cool little website that you can use. This one is 1/3 and 3/4. And then you submit it, and it will give you a little link And this link here is a little website called Snote. I don't know if any of you have heard of this, but it gives you, once it's loaded, it gives you some words all mashed together, and you can manipulate the tools here. Just wait for it to load. And it looks a bit confusing, but if you manipulate the tools at the side here, you can actually see that there are words that come through these. So you can see there's cookie and third, and depending on where you move it, they sort of change upside down or forward. So it's just one of the things that you can use for kids, and show them how to find the words. So the answer to this one, if we go back into the website, is third. And there's a few specific things when it comes to creating the form, which I'll go through a little bit later on. Google Forms are specific when it comes to uppercase and lowercase, so you have to specify whether you want them in caps or not. I generally always put my word clues in caps, and then it stops any sort of confusion with kids sort of typing in incorrectly or whatever, with capital letters at the start and everything. And so that's that clue. The next clue that you can see is this one is linked to an Excel spreadsheet or to a Google form, so Google Sheet, and it is this link here. And that one's asking you to force a copy of the document, and I'll show you why that's necessary later on. So again, here are some little questions for the kids. And when they type their answers into the boxes will change color. It's called conditional formatting in Google Forms, Google Sheets, and looks complicated, but there's actually quite a neat little trick. And especially if children don't know about it, I teach year 5, 6, and I haven't actually taught them how to do a conditional format yet, because I want them to not know my secrets. And this one, how many animals? You can see obviously that's 10. And number after 7. And how many 10s are in the number 40? So that would be 4. So you can see that the colors come through. And if you check the answer sheet there, you can see that when we entered the correct color, the cell changed color, and we used the first letter of the colors to create the code. So RGBY. If I pop that then into my form on the website, it will go through and accept the code. Now, if you put something in that's not correct, so say you put in there, it will come up and say, sorry, you've got the wrong answer, try again. And this will help students to go back and, keep thinking about, what they're doing and try and figure out the clues. So that's just a basic introduction to one of the breakouts. That's one of the simpler ones. And just see in the chat there, escape rooms using Google Drawings and Forms. That's basically what a breakout is. So that's the stage 1 to 3. And this one here is a little bit more complicated, a stage 7 one. And I won't go through all the clues, but I will send you the links to these if you want to have a go at the breakout yourself, then you're most welcome. So this one includes, we've got, the pi formula and, looking at Fibonacci sequences and all that kind of stuff. And up until, I think it was last year, I hadn't had anybody break out, and I made this breakout in 2019. So I had obviously a few people in the lockdown last year went through, and from 2020 and 2021, and I had a lot of people breaking through. So that was quite cool to see. Okay, before we carry on, is there any questions from anyone?
I have a question. When do you use these in your classroom? Is this a follow-up from your teaching, or fill-in time, or homework? How do you use these?
So within the Maths Week, when we have Maths Week, I give the link to the children, and it can be an ongoing thing throughout the week. So once they have the link, they can go through and they can access the link whenever they want. And I also create a little worksheet. I just show you here. So I send this out to the kids as well, so that they can fill in the different codes. So if they break 1 or 2 codes one day, they don't have to remember where they found it for the next day. They can just pop it onto this document, and then they can go back to it. So they're designed to sort of last for a week, or, depending on the level. So if it's the stage 1 to 3 breakout, normally a teacher would do that with their children within about half an hour as a lesson. So it's just it can be used as a teaching tool, but it can also be used as like you said, a fill-in sort of background activity. I gave it to my kids while I was doing other Maths Week activities. So, any other questions? What?
Oh, in the chat or unmute.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what I'm going to do with everybody is take you through a very basic creation of your own breakout. If you would like to follow on, that's great. If you think that I just want to watch and then try one after the session, then you're most welcome to do that as well. But I will go through each step, step by step, just to create a very, very simple version of this. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pop into our Google Drive, and we're going to create a new folder, and we're just going to call it breakouts. So I'm aware I'm sharing my screen, so you may have to just use the escape button there to jump in and out between your tabs. Or like I said, you can just watch, and I will send you the instructions so you can have a go yourself afterwards. Okay, so in this breakouts folder, we're going to create another folder called coding, or coders breakouts. And then we've got all of our system there for holding all our files. So I have in my drive, I have a breakouts folder, and then within that I've got multi-language week breakouts. I've done some mythology breakouts. I've done a reading breakout. So they don't have to be just specific to maths. You can really put anything on it that you like. So I did go through a period with my kids where they were so into them that they were asking me to create one every week, which was quite difficult. So they do, to the level that I'm creating, they do take a wee while to create, but I did one a term for them, and it was something that they really look forward to. So, okay, so now that we've created our folder to put them all into, we're going to go in and create a Google site. So we do that by clicking on New, we go down to More, and we just click on the Google Sites and Create and Share. And this will open your brand new Google site. So what we're going to do now is we're going to name our site, and we're going to put a picture into the header. So here we just double click onto the page title, and we might decide to call it our breakout. Just note that when you do name the title doesn't actually change the name of the site. So you have to actually just pop up here and change that as well. You can change it once you're in your drive as well. You can just hit the rename and go through from there. But I have I got caught one day where I forgot to change that, and I had about 3 sites that were all untitled site, and I was like, wow, which one's which? Okay, so we've now we've created our site. We've made a title, and we're just going to pop an image on here. So if we go select image, and we pop into search, and we can thank Google for giving us all of the non-royalty pictures. So we can, any of these pictures that you use in here, Google have freed up for us to use. So I'm just going to pop on a lock there, scroll down until I find a picture I like, and then I can just click on that, hit select, and the picture will pop in there. So you notice there's a little button down here that says readability. Sometimes when you pop a picture into a website for a Google site, it will come out and it will sort of override your heading. So you can click on these buttons here just to adjust the fade out of it to make that title stand out. Okay, so any questions so far? Creating our site? All good? Cool. Okay, so that's our site. We're just going to leave that there for now. And then we're going to go in and create the main basis of our breakout, which is the Google form. So if we go back into our folder and we hit new, and we hit our Google form, and we're going to hit create and share. Okay, so here we've got our Google form, and we're going to pop in here and just name it first of all. So we're going to call it coding. You can call it whatever you like, obviously, and give it a bit of a description. So breakout. So now we have named our form. We've given it a little bit of a description, and then we're going to create our questions. And these are the questions that you'll see up here with our site. So if we click on untitled question, when I name my questions, I always name them based on what kind of clue it is. So that way, if I've got, say, 6 or 7 different clues in one form, then it gives the students an idea, so they don't need to type the answer into every single question to see which one works. So I have number locks, we've got word locks. Some of the breakouts I've made have got direction locks, so you can go, up, down, left, right, or north, east, south, west, depending on what you want to do. So it's really, really wide. You can sort of, create it however you like. So this one, I'm just going to call it word lock. And then I'm going to make sure that this is in short answer. Google will most likely do this for you. It's got a program inside it that sort of looks at the question and it gives you the most, suitable form for the question. So that's my word lock. I've done a short answer. You can change different ones if you like, but for our breakouts, we're just going to use short answer. Click on required. If it's not required, then obviously they can get through the breakout without having to answer that question. So always make sure that the required button is clicked. In Google Forms, that used to be default as on. You can change the defaults if you want to. But you can just slide that across as well. The other thing that we're going to click on is our description. And then this will come up with a little bit of an idea of what to say. So I always give an idea of how many letters there are in the particular clue. So this one here is, we're going to make 6 letters. That way you can have more than one word lock. So if you can have like a 3-letter word lock, and you can have a 6-letter word lock if you want. And I always give the students an idea of whether I want them to do it in lowercase or caps. So I'm going to put all caps there. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is click on the response validation. And what this does is it allows Google to look at the answer that they've put in and decide whether the answer is correct or incorrect. So I'm going to change this number here to text, make sure that it says contains, and then I'm going to type in the answer. So the answer to this one, we'll just put coding. And again, if you put all caps up there, make sure that you put your caps in there. If you do it lowercase, then Google will only accept the lowercase. Any questions so far?
Oh, lots of steps to remember.
Yeah, that's why I've popped these all on a document, so it's not, you don't have to sit there and go, oh, how did she do that? So it's all step by step with pictures and everything like that, and I'll send that out to everybody afterwards. And if you've got some experience using Google Forms, you might have already done this kind of thing before, and it might be quite sort of something that you've seen. But if not, it's a very, very step by step guide. This is it here. So step by step. Okay, so we have now created our first clue, and that's all finished. So we're going to create our second one now, and we'll link this back to a number clue. So you can decide however you want to do, the steps for your creating your breakouts. You can either do, create the clue and then go off and do, whatever it's linked to, or you can create all the answers first. What I tend to do when I'm creating these is I do the answer sheet first. So I go, right, what kind of things do I want? I want, the kids to learn about fractions, or I might want them to think about, mass equations or something like that I can then put in a Google sheet, and then you can link it there. So it really depends on however, you like to do it. So if we go back to our form, to do a new question, I'm just going to pop in here. Oh, sorry, I've missed a bit. So the custom error text here, where I showed you before, if I typed in the wrong answer, it come up and said, sorry, wrong answer, try again. This one here is where you write that. So you can just stop in there, sorry, wrong answer, try again. And that's what will come up if they type in something that's incorrect. What will also happen is if they pop it in lowercase, then it will come up and say incorrect answer. So some of my kids will come up to me and say, oh, you know, Miss Everett, I've got the right answer. I know it's the right answer, but it's not working. And then I'll say, oh, have you tried doing it in capital letters? So yeah. Okay, so we've now set up our first clue. To do the second one, we can pop in their new question. I just do a check-in. Is anyone following along, or are you sort of rather watching and sort of do it for yourself afterwards? Just so I know whether I'm going too fast or not.
I'm just watching myself so that
Yep.
I can try this later. I just
Sure.
pay attention. You can
No
always
worries.
use thumbs up or thumbs down on the screen. Jane says, all good, just following with you. Thanks, Jane.
No
Yeah,
problem.
just following.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so the second clue that we're going to set up is a number clue. And we're going to pop in the question here as a number log. And this will direct the students to say, right, these, you know, this particular question has to involve numbers. Again, it comes into defaults to short answer, which is what we want. We want to make it a required question. And then we're going to pop in there the two things from these three dots, the description and the response validation. So the description here is how many numbers are in this particular lock. So we're going to write 4-digit code. And then when we come down to here, this is where we can inform Google that this is the particular, you know, answer that we were looking for. So we're going to make that equal to, and our number we're just going to type in there is 2022. And we can go back up and just copy and paste this to save yourself some time. And there's our sorry, wrong answer, try again. So there is our second clue all set up. And now what we can do from here is we can go and link those particular questions to clues that are on the website. Just check the chat there. Taskmaster. Absolutely. Yeah, Jane, absolutely. And yeah, I'll be, if you want any help or anything like that, just feel free, you know, to email me, or I can have a Zoom call with you or whatever and talk you through anything if you struggle to make any of the bits work. I'm also happy to send out, I popped it out on Facebook when it was Maths Week this year, a link to all the different maths breakouts that I have. So I'm absolutely will send you the link to that as well. And that has stage 1 to 3, the 4, 5, 6, and a stage 7 one as well. So feel free to use the ones that I've created as well. Okay. So we have done our Google form. The next thing we are going to do is, do you want me to take you through how to change the colors and everything on the form, or is that something that most of you kind of know how to do? Ish. Okay, I'll rip through it really quickly. So to change the colors and everything on the form, you can click on the little palette up here and it will bring up a like a theme kind of thing that you can do. When you go down to header, you can use one of the ones that Google has. So if I choose that one there and insert it, then it will actually change all the colors for me. It will pop the picture in and it will change, you know, the background color and, you know, the colors of these and everything like that. So that's a really easy way. You can upload your own pictures as well if you'd like. And you can also change the, you can change the colors down here if you like as well. Text, when it comes to fonts and everything like that, you can use these ones to change the fonts as well if you like. So yeah, so that is the Google form. All right, let's go through the next one. Okay, so if we go back into our website, we've made this one here. what we can now do is we can put our form onto our website, and this will, when you send the link out to the kids, they'll see the form that you've just created here. So if we go up to the insert button and we scroll down, we'll see forms there. And here it will come up in order of when you create them. So if you've created a form today, it will come up. You can just double click that.
Could you just go where the insert button is again?
Yeah, sure. So up the top here.
Oh, right. Okay.
When you go into so you've got, you can make different pages, or you can insert all sorts of, you can embed links, you can put pictures in, text, all that kind of stuff. And then, so you click insert and then scroll down, and it allows you to, you can, link YouTube clips, you can do calendars, maps, all of those kind of things as well. So anything that you've created in the Google platform, you can insert this into your website. Okay, so I've clicked on the form and I've double clicked that, and it's put it now into my website here. So if I just do a quick preview, I can see this is what my Google site will look like to students. There's my 2 questions. And what we'll do now is we'll go back and we'll create these 2 questions in our clues. So we can do that by inserting it. Oh, sorry, just get out of this preview version. And to get rid of that and find the insert button, you just click on the little X there, and that will take you out of the insert, the forms sort of specific things. So the next thing I want to do is add a picture onto my website. So I click on images and I select my picture. And again, I can just, I can search up here and say, I had a specific picture, but it doesn't really matter what picture you put in. So you might want to do a padlock again. And then if you just hit enter, make sure that you click on, just have to move the window out of the way. Click on Google Images there, and if you just go lock, it'll come up with a whole bunch of little images and things like that. Oh. So if I select the picture that I want, and then I go insert, then it will pop my picture in up the top there. And you can move these pictures around. So generally you want your form at the top of your page. If you just click on the picture that you've inserted, you can move it all around. So I'm just going to pop it underneath into the next section there. And you can move it sort of wherever. You can add text boxes and all that kind of stuff as well. But won't sort of spend too much time on that. Okay, so now I've put my picture in. Now I want to go back and I want to create my word lock and my number lock. So the number lock, all I'm going to do is put a text box onto my site somewhere with the number 2022 in it. And there's in this breakout that I've created here, I've got, this is a clue. So there's a little sentence there that says, how many of each object can you see? Look very closely. To get the lock code, the robots ate apples, grapes, and bananas. So they don't actually need to click in anywhere to go here. They just need this picture. So they're looking at how many robots ate, the apples and the bananas, and that works out to be the clue. And when I send you that, you'll be able to see, how the numbers work together. So if I go back into my website, I'm going to hit text box. And in here, I'm going to write breakout 2022. If I want to move my text box, if I mouse over there, I can see there's a little grid there. If I just click on that and move it up, and I can change the font and the size and all that kind of stuff there. So now they've got the picture. and they've got the words there. So the kids will go around and look at the website and they'll see, oh, there's a number there. There's a 4-digit number. Maybe that belongs in that code. And when they try it out in that particular answer there, then the code will work. So that's creating the 4-digit code. And what I'll do now is take you through the Google form, the Google Sheet, and I'll show you how to do a little bit of conditional formatting. So once again, if we go back into our Google Drive and we hit New, we click on Google Sheets. Here is my Google Sheets. And we've got, a blank screen there. So you can do any sort of equations or anything. I've got one that I've actually prepared. Again, I'll send the link out to this one as well, so you can see how it all works. So I've got all of my examples in there. And what I can do is when the kids put the answer into the box next to it, it will change color, just like I showed you with the other clue on the breakout. So to do that, what I'm going to do is put my equations in there. And then when I click on the box next to it, obviously I want their answer to be 5. So when the students click onto that cell and type the answer 5, we can make it change color. So all I have to do is go up to the format button up the top there, click on conditional formatting, and it brings up this little box on the side here. So what I want to do is go format cells if, and we're going to change this one to is equal to. And again, you can see there's lots and lots of different ones that you can do. So, you can say if the number is greater than, you can do dates, you can do text and all that kind of stuff as well. So here, my value is what I want my answer to be. So if the answer is 5, then I type in 5 there, and down here is where you change the color of the box. So my one's red. I'll just pop red in there. And then once I click done, there's my rule. And if I click on 5, you can see that the box will change color there. So this is, I use conditional formatting for so many different things in my classroom. I've got problem solving cards for the kids that they work out. And I've got a template that I've made that, if the kids type in the right answer, then it will change color for them. And what that allows me to do is they can basically self-assess and they can self-mark themselves. So rather than me having to keep going in and saying, yes, that's right, no, that's wrong, whatever. If you use conditional formatting, then, you can say red is wrong or green is right, or all sorts of things. So there's a lot of scope for conditional formatting. There's also a Google program that you can show kids how to use Google Sheets to do computer battleships. So there's lots of different uses of that. So we go through and you can do the same for each. So I'll take you through it again. So obviously 3 times 2, I want that answer in that box to be 6. I go up to the format. I hit conditional formatting. I want to format my cells to make sure that that is equal to, make my value 6, and then I can make it orange. Click on done. And then when I type my 6 in that box, it changes color. And this is how I create the color code. So the first letter of each color, you can see in here. So the red, orange, and that is, they might correspond to different colors, or you might just decide, depending on how complicated you want to make it. Sometimes I'll make the code going from bottom to the top rather than top to the bottom. But for the younger children, it's just follow the colors. So the first color will be R is red. And in the breakout, you can see here, I've given them a little clue there. So that's a color lock. So wherever they see the colors, R equals red, Y equals yellow. So if they've got a order that's red, orange, yellow, or whatever, then they can just do R, O, Y. Any questions so far? All good. Okay, so we've now created our form and we've created our picture. So the next thing that we need to do is link in this document into the picture. So when they click on the picture, it will take them through into the Google Sheet. I'll just name that and put coding flow. At this point, I may have lost some of you, but like I said, there's very, very detailed instructions on how to go through and do this. Okay, so now that I've created my form, rather than put my form onto the actual site, what I want to do is I want to make it so that when they click on this lock, it takes them through to their very own copy of the Google Sheet. All I have to do now is right click on, just click on the picture and it will come up with this little menu bar here. We hit the link button. And then what we can do is just pop back into our Google Sheet, copy the up the top there. You can see what's called the URL or the address for that particular document. And we copy that link into there. And there's different ways that we can do it. So when we're creating a breakout, what we want to do is make sure that we don't have the one master document that all the kids go on. And once one kid's changed it, then, you know, the answers are all there for them. So there's something that you can do in Google when you're popping a link in that you can actually force the students to create a copy of this, and it will make a copy into their own Google Drives. Or if you're doing it as a teacher, you can create that copy and it will create that file on your drive. So all we have to do is go to the very end of, so here is my link. I just go to the end where it says edit. And where it says edit, I just remove all of that and type in copy instead. And then if I hit apply, what it will do now is when the students click on that link, or when anybody clicks on that link in this site, a message will come up and say, do you want to make a copy of this particular document? And then they can go in there and they can manipulate it themselves, and they're not going to, you know, it means that you can create one breakout and you can send it out to hundreds of people and not have everybody typing over everybody else's document. All right, any questions about linking? No, good. Okay. Okay, we've done that, we've done that. And we have now got our basic breakout. So to make sure that all of these things work, we can do a preview. And what I normally do as well is I send it to a colleague, or I'll open up the link in an incognito window on Google and just test all of the links and everything and make sure that they work. Sometimes with the sharing, you might make a document that requires to be shared, in which case you'll need to go in and change the sharing settings and the privacy settings. So to do that, if we just pop into the share button on any of these documents that I create. So as you can see here, this one is only accessible by people that are in my organization. So I'm just going to pop in there and put anyone with the link. And I'm going to do the same with any form or anything that I make. You don't need to do it with the actual Google form because if we don't want to give editing rights to people with the form. Okay, so now I'm going to do a quick preview. So this button up here in our Google site gives you a preview of what the site will look like. And I've got my title there. I've embedded my form. And I've got my little lock and my words. So if I click on the lock there, you can see now it's asking me to create a copy of this document. Hit make a copy, and then it will force generate a copy. Yeah, obviously these answers are there because I didn't take them out from the original form. So if you're doing any testing in your original form, just make sure that you go through and test that you've taken all the answers out. Otherwise, when they make a copy, all the answers will be there. I have made that mistake once. Okay, right. So that's pretty much the site. The last thing that we need to do is just publish the site. So if we go back into our site, we can get rid of the preview by just clicking the little cross there. And we're going to go up and we're going to publish our site. So click on the publish button. And this will give you a web address here. So I might decide to call it, coding here, and then it will create my site. It will do it under your organization. So if you're creating a site within your school, it will have your school address and then whatever at the end of it, whatever you decide to call it. And here I want to make sure that anyone that can view my site, it's a public thing, not just my organization. So here I just hit public. It will update the access. And then I'll publish it, and then it will be available for everybody to be seen. You can do a final check by clicking on the link button here. You can copy your link, and then if you go and you can open a incognito window. Is that sharing? Just the incognito? Yeah.
Yes,
cool.
it is.
Awesome. And we're just going to pop the site in there. And this is where you will find out if there is any issues. So here we can see there's an error, you don't have access. So I can see that I haven't done something, and this is like a troubleshooting thing. This is why you always test it out with your incognito window. So what I need to do here is make sure that I've checked all the settings and made sure that everything is available to be seen. So this will be the form. It'll be an issue with the form. Just go in there and look at my settings on my form, and all of these are, I haven't gone through them, but they're all there in the steps that you can follow. So here I'm going to make sure that this is not restricted, and I'm not going to collect email addresses. And here I'll just rip through this because I'm aware of the time. Confirmation message in here. You can pop in here and just put, congratulations, you broke out. And that's what will come up when they type in their answers. And then if we go back into our incognito window, here we go, we can see everything now. So we've got our lock. If we click on that, it's asking us to sign into Google and create a copy of that for ourselves. We've got our words there. And I also check that the codes actually work. That's always a good thing as well. So in here, I know that my code was coding and my number lock was 2022. And I can see if I type in 2021, it gives me my wrong answer. Then I'm going to submit it, and you'll be able to see that's what I wrote in before. Congratulations, you broke out.
Wow.
All right, how are your brains?
We'll really enjoy that list that you're going to send us.
Absolutely.
Make sure that I'm on your list too. That'd be great.
Yeah, no worries. So, sorry, Margie, have you got everybody's email addresses and everything that you can pop these out to?
No, I don't. So I guess, could you please put your email address on back at the beginning?
Sure.
And then everyone can email you, and then you can just send the link out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just
grab your phones and just take a photo of in your first slide, actually.
Yeah.
There you go. So just take a photo of her email address.
There we
There
go.
you go. And then just send Lisa an email, and she'll send you a copy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share it out with you, and I'll also send you the link to all of the breakouts that I've created as well.
Oh, wow.
And you can feel free to use. I've actually got a site which has links to all of the breakouts on it, and you can use there's multi-language ones in there, and a few other bits and pieces. So you can feel free to send those out to your students, and as you get more familiar with all of these things, you can be a little bit more creative and think about. The hardest thing for me about creating these breakouts is, how am I going to trick my students? And that's the bit that takes me the longest, is the actual creating. Once you've done it once or twice, it sort of becomes quite easy. The hardest bit is, what am I going to do to trick my students? So, and there's so many different things you can do. Code breaking, you know, where you know, link to a, you know, this is the code and break the code, and then that becomes your clue. And there's lots of other things that you can do that lead you to, you know, different places on the internet that kids can search through. Like you'll see anyway, I've got links to videos, and they've got to watch the video to get the word out of the video, or they might have like an article that they need to read, and within that article is the answer to the question. So cool.
And Lisa, you probably find that the work that you put into this, they just do it in about 3 minutes.
Surprisingly enough, the first one that I created, I thought, that'll be about half an hour. I'll just stop my share. Did everyone get my email address? I popped it in the chat as well. So the first one that I created, I thought, you know, the students are going to take, you know, at least half an hour, 45 minutes to do this. And I had one kid break out in 5 minutes, and I was like, really? So then I went, okay, I need to up my game here. But I've also, you know, some of the breakouts that I've created, the kids will spend, you know, possibly half an hour a day, you know, on it, and then, you know, moving through into the next week as well. And these were fantastic in the lockdown. I could just send the link out to the kids, and, you know, that could be one of the things that they did as a bit of downtime. And I also, in lockdown, I had a lot of families get involved as well, and the parents tried to help the kids. And I had parents emailing me going, this is really hard. How do I do it? Where's the answer sheet? So, yeah.
Oh, good for you, Lisa. Wow. Thank you so much for what you've shared. People, feel free to unmute and give your feedback. We'll stop the recording now, but thank you so much.
No problem. And thanks everybody for coming along, and hope I haven't hurt your brains too much.